Yo, what's good, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. And before I even say anything else, if you haven't watched our videos that's linked to this debrief, deep dive, context, background video, then we recommend you to watch these videos first so you can listen to us, have the conversations, and get a deeper understanding about it. So if you haven't watched the videos, down in the link, we got Jules, we got Lowell, we got Jono, we got Richard doing the videos, and then you come back, watch this again, watch me do this little intro again, or you can fast forward, and we can get straight into it. But if you have already watched it, thanks, man. Thanks, guys and girls. Yeah, you're in the right place. So, you're tuning in today, and if you watched it already, you know what's about to go down, yeah? So, give some little bit of context. We gathered together last year, actually, to do some November dances, just trying to create more awareness about mental health. It was a fairly quick little project. This is our second year doing sort of something creative linked to November and mental health in general. And we gathered, we assembled, and we did something a little bit different this year. We wanted to make it more meaningful, wanted to share our stories, and we wanted to shape it and present it in the creative art form of dance. So over the next 40-ish minutes, we're going to talk about our dances. We're going to talk about the things behind it. Why did Lowell do that move, and why did he look that way, or why Jules did this crazy popping for the 4 beats? We're going to talk about it. Well, but you've seen it already, so it's all good. By this point, if you haven't seen it, stop watching and just watch the other video. But yeah, we gathered together because this is, I feel like this is something true to us. We are, we really feel deeply about just society and mental health in society, right? I really think it's a really important thing. This is why we're dedicating time outside of our normal lives to do this. So I really feel grateful to be with these guys, doing something so meaningful and for you all. And you're probably thinking, why did we do this, right? Well, like we started last year, we want to create more awareness about mental health. It's getting more and more important, and it's affecting people's lives. And we really need to start those conversations and help each other out. So we want to do it in this sort of creative form. And what better way to sort of share our stories is to just talk about, potentially what we've gone through, and we can talk about that a little bit more. And so we want to start to open the conversations, and we want to start to inspire people to take that next step, whatever it is, whatever works for you. Try and get help. Try and figure out what you need to do if you are experiencing anything that's impacting your mental health. And we're all here to support each other. So this is one way that we want to sort of give back. Anything else you want to add, Lowell? Around why we're doing this.
I think one of the biggest things we talked about was the idea of go and talk to someone, and I think that's a difficult concept. It's easier said than done, definitely. So by doing this project and putting what we want to say into our art, is a way to kind of showcase how, because even for myself, I don't know, I can't speak for everyone, but going to go talk to someone is definitely a foreign and difficult, stigmatized idea. And so I use dance as a way to have that kind of inner dialogue or dialogue with people outside of myself. And so we hope that by watching this, yourself or just people can get inspired to take a step, whether that is to actually go talk to someone or then find something that makes sense to them to then therefore start some kind of inner dialogue to make change or better your mental health. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I like that. So,
should we get into this?
Let's get into it.
Okay,
yeah.
Forget that we're filming. Yeah. So how we're gonna do this is we're going to showcase each other our pieces. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch them again so that it's fresh, and then we're each going to have a chance to talk about the piece, and then just kind of open discussion about it, and then just see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
It's pretty scary. Vulnerable spaces.
And who's up? Jono's first. So
That's first.
we'll be back.
Bing bong. Oh fuck, I licked it.
What the last compliment, man?
That was hard.
You're a full athlete.
fun.
Athletic jeans.
Athletic.
Athletic greens.
That's messed up, man.
Sick.
All right.
All right.
3.
All right. Are we just gonna get straight into
Get
it?
straight into it, man.
Tell us.
That whole thing, I guess, the preface of it was like, I kind of thought back at the highest moment of like my career or like where I was, like you still have that doubt, like am I still good enough? But you're at your, like you're killing it. Like there was a time where like I was killing it in like dancing and all that, and then it was just like, fuck, am I still good enough? And then that whole piece is kind of just that inner dialogue of like, you are good enough, and then it's like, am I good enough? No, you are good enough, bro. Like, keep going. But are you? So it's kind of like the preface of it. And I think one line that I go, oh no, this is the song, because it took me ages to figure out what song, was the line, look, think about it, close your eyes, dream about it, tell your team about it, go make $1 million schemes about it. I kind of just thought about like, oh, fuck. Someone, I know for me personally, it's like that inner dialogue, it's like, oh yeah, blah, 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 are you good? Are you not good enough? Sometimes it takes other people to go, hey bro, like you're killing it, or thank you bro, like for doing that, So it's kind of, that's how I took it. It's like, oh, no, you're okay. Like, and I guess the other thing was the title, One Man Can Change the World. So like, as for me personally, it's like, no matter how big or small I think I am, you never know who you're like affecting in life. Doesn't matter how big or small or in what situation it is. I think that's the whole preface of how I had it mentally when I was creating it, is the, hey, like you'd never know who's taking notice of what you're doing. And like, you don't know if you're changing someone's life just by being you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty much it.
Sick, bro. No, I love that, man. I love that. I feel, I resonate with that hard.
Yeah.
I think like just that chaotic like dialogue of like, there's no one there to, like when it's just yourself, it's easy to get caught up and then get in that feedback loop of those kinds of thoughts. But I think that's really like, I think your piece is a really good showcase of how important it is to like constantly support those around you. Because you just, like you said, you know what I mean? You never know what they're going through. Like on the outside, it's like, fuck, they're killing it. And you kind of just leave it. Like, oh, they must have got it going on. Yeah. But really, you don't actually know.
That also shows the importance of like, if you think someone's killing it or one of your homies is killing it, like letting them know that, you know what I mean? Because like, if they're always killing it, you're probably thinking they're aware of that, you know what I mean? Because they're doing, it seems like they're doing so well all the time, but you don't know that there's a struggle going on. And like you were saying, it takes someone telling them. It's like, if everyone sort of thinks they're doing well, then no one's letting them know. Because it's almost like, what's the point of me telling them? They probably know that already. You know? Everyone's already told them, you know? So it's like, it's that idea of like giving the flowers while you can.
100%.
Giving the flowers while you can.
That's
I think, no, crazy, man.
That's sick. And like, I can imagine, like knowing you, Jono, you're very humble and modest. So
exactly right.
Telling your team, telling your mates, like, you know, like it's not easy, right? And it's naturally, you wouldn't do that because you're just so humble, naturally. So, just the importance of, man, I think it's okay to just, hey, Jules, man, like, I did this thing, I'm pretty, like, proud of it, like, I'm wrapped. That's it, you don't even have to ask for anything, validation, or do you think it's good, like, letting that off your chest.
And I think the other thing I was thinking about when I was doing it is like, I know right now, even right now where I'm at with my career and all that, it's like, I'm doing well, but it's like, oh, I don't want to show it off. Like, what if like someone thinks I've got a big head, like what's the point? Like, and then you kind of start to degrade yourself, but then it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
We'll be
it's
more proud,
okay
man.
to be proud of that.
Exactly that,
Like,
man.
that's the
Yeah.
thing.
We'll cheer you on, man.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's that balancing act of like, how do you say, of lost it.
But I think it's like, still trying to, I guess, be humble.
Yeah.
And not so braggy. But
Yeah.
then
That's
at
the-
the
that's
same
the-
time, it's
Yeah,
like,
Like I just always got it.
yeah, but like you were saying, it's like, if anything, your closest circle is going to be the one
Yeah.
Yes.
that wants you to brag. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
want to know how well
Yeah.
everyone's doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause that, yeah. No.
Now, I was just gonna say, like, I don't know what it's like for you guys, but I actually have to really, like, say to myself, I want to go out and tell people that I think they're doing great. I feel like
yeah.
it's not normal.
It's not
Yeah,
like,
it's
it's
not-
not
it's a
innate
culture
like,
here.
to do that.
But
right?
yeah, because like for example, there's a lot of like our mates in the States. They praise each other so
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And it always surprised me.
Yeah.
Like fuck, I love my friends that much, just as much. But I'm not as vocal. Like should I be vocal?
Yeah.
Like I think that's something that, like, that really get
Yeah.
video piece gets really put into question.
Yeah. What do you reckon gets in the way of like being vocal about it?
I think there's a stigma around it because it's like a societal thing, man. Where,
Yeah.
Generally, when you see someone like talking about themselves, everyone just sees that as
Yeah.
bragging,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to be that person,
Yeah.
or at least the way
Yeah.
we don't want to be that person all the time.
Yeah.
And so, and you hear the negative talk around someone that talks of themselves like that. And I think, and then in terms of us letting someone know, well, at least for me, it's like I was saying, you know, I feel like if I feel like they're doing that well, I'm sure they know it already. And,
Yeah.
not that there's anything wrong with me telling them as well, but it's almost like, who am I to tell them? Like,
Yeah.
True that,
why does
yeah.
that matter for them? You know, what I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Would you say
Without
it's-
thinking about their end,
know, yeah.
how much it could mean to them if I was to tell them that.
Yeah.
But I'm not consciously thinking of that all
True
the time,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Would you say it's also got to do with, because we're all Filipino, it's the way we're brought up. I know for like I didn't witness a lot of that growing up in terms of like
Yeah, no,
like
yeah.
my parents, or no shade to my parents, but like my community going like, hey man, you killed that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you should do more of
Yeah,
that. Or like, da, 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 da.
100%.
Like I
Yeah.
feel like I'm that first generation of my inner family community to be going out
Yeah.
of my way to say, whoa. Yo, you gotta keep doing more. of
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Getting the feedback of like shockness, like, oh, maybe I should. It's like it's not normalized
Yeah. Yeah.
in my culture anyway. So
Yeah.
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 But overall, yeah, I love the piece, but I think it's the best you've ever danced.
Yeah, it's the
choreo
best
itself,
Jono
aside from
piece
the message.
ever
Yeah.
I've seen.
Yeah.
That was hard.
What you know that lyric that you pointed out?
Yeah.
What was like the process behind making movement to that?
Yeah. Good question.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Good question. I think that specific part, so it's kind of like, oh, okay, I'm by myself, so think about it. Like, close your eyes, dream about it, right? So it's like, I'm by myself, okay, cool. Like, no, I'm doing all right. I'm doing good. Why not just tell people about it? And then like, that's the whole like, tell your team about it. It's like, for me, right? Why not share it with you guys? Why not share my successes with you guys? And like, potentially like, hey, you guys feel like this is me doing me. Like, I want to share it with you guys. You guys are like one of those people that matter to me the most, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, hey, I want you guys to see what I'm up to, what I'm doing, like what I'm getting after. Maybe you guys can come along with the ride as well. Like, I don't know, like as long as I'm letting people know,
Yeah.
it's like you never know who else is thinking about potentially the same thing.
True that, man.
mad.
I think that's why this I think this, even for us right now, this is pretty cool because like knowing that is like whenever you do something really good,
Yeah.
and then you tell us, it's not so much that you're bragging, but it's strengthening your own identity and
yeah.
how we
Yes.
support that
100%,
like
yeah.
that pathway for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I think even just like this is talking. Yeah, it's
But
cool.
I think for me, even if it's like one of you guys were telling me about an achievement you've recently come
Yeah.
across, not only am I proud for you, but then it inspires me to want
Yes.
to go out and
I was
get
gonna
it.
say,
you know
Yes.
what I mean?
True that, yeah.
Yes.
So I think it is more important that we do that more.
Yes.
often.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
good that we've started this
Yeah.
as a
Yeah,
space to do
100%.
so. But I think that's the whole point, is that there doesn't need to be a space to do so. There's always a space.
All in the space, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
yeah, 200.
And we've
that's-
created that space for each other.
Yeah.
Like it's so important.
Yes.
We've built a foundation of like a psychologically safe space for us to talk with no judgment from others and trust in each other that whatever we say, we're doing it for the benefit of each other and ourselves. It's never ever going to be like this, you know, like in a. Oh, yeah.
It's not malicious.
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly. So
100%.
I think the culture we've cultivated has
Like
allowed that
even
to
the
happen.
roasting is good.
Yeah.
Like
Part of it.
it's part of it. Yeah.
Man.
So the foundation is real key to enable like
No, 100%.
that dialogue to open.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, man.
No, good. Thank you guys.
That's sick. It's even better now.
Yeah, it's
clean dance man.
I'm gonna watch it again now with that idea.
Man.
That's sick.
I felt like you just articulated the whole song and
100%.
very
You're sitting in the
conversational.
pocket for like every word.
Very
The whole
conversational.
piece, man. It was
You
crazy.
know how long it took me to get to that
Worth it,
mindset?
man.
It's so hard to like, I haven't choreographed like that ever. It's usually just like wordplay and all that, but this is like concepts and tying in wordplay all in one go. And I've
Well, this is
never
my
done it
favorite
like
piece
that.
from you, so.
Cheers, bro.
it says a lot when
Thank
you like
you.
put in like the work and
Yeah.
the story behind stuff instead of just like I'm just making music.
Yeah.
Like the product is like next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Thank you,
Sick,
thank
sick.
you,
Thank you.
thank you,
Thanks,
thank you.
man.
Clappity clap clap.
All right.
Sick.
Next one up.
Next
Noelle
one.
D.
Wasn't breathing
I
again.
don't say, man.
Bad, bro.
Oh, bloody time.
You guys are cooked.
What the?
Freaking
I couldn't take my eyes on that shit, man.
far out, man.
All right, so mine, mine is like so. It's not necessarily, it's not Corey. I think this goes down to the process of how I use dance to have dialogue or a way to understand my emotions better. This is actually something that I do when I'm like really cooked, like emotionally. I'll go into my garage. I'll only put on like a mood light, and then I'll do this. Even like the way I will just walk around with the music. In regards to the context of this dance, it's got to do with how chaotic it is in my head, kind of like yourself. It's really chaotic, but on the outside I'm just chilling. But inside is all this like constant, what's going on here, da 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 da. My mind races really quickly, and it's actually like very tormenting. In regard, how I created this it wasn't Corey, but it was segmental in regards to giving context to each segment of like the song. So the first part where it's just that's just me kicking it, like kicking it, and then and warping into the space, but then really warping back, and really I'm just here. But that's what I feel like. I feel like I'm in all these different spaces of myself, like these different avatars of Noelle that's struggling but still trying to hold it together. And then the second part is me becoming aware of this, kind of giving into the thought, and then me trying to come, and then this next section is me trying to come out of it. Hence, so it's more like pulling out. When you hear the song, it kind of like makes more sense. And then the chorus is me giving into that. I feel like as if we're talking about like mental health for men specifically, I think it really goes into that stigma of trying to be like strong, or I've got my head screwed on that I've got it going on to keep myself alive, to keep my kids alive, you know what I mean? That I have to be the breadwinner and protector. But sometimes like I feel like with all this chaos and torment within my head, I just want to kind of sometimes just give in and just be sad, but I don't really get the time to be sad. Because I gotta keep going, you know what I mean? Especially because the lights turned off.
Keep the lights on.
Yeah, turn the lights off. But my kid, like, I gotta keep going because my kids, you know what I mean? Like, there's no time for me to be sad anymore. Like, that's the kind of like paradigm I'm in, where like I understand the power of being vulnerable, power of giving time to yourself to look after your mental health. But I think what I really want to put into question is like, when do we actually have time for that? Like, do we have to become rich or successful or get to a point in our career where, okay, I can do that now, but then it's like, isn't that kind of defeating the purpose? Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's the piece. I had to do freestyle because it's contextually, it was difficult for me to create.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even doing that.
There's no moves for it.
Yeah, like there's no, I think being in that mental space of this is about this specific thing, I couldn't attach myself to a specific movement. I couldn't attach myself to a specific representation. So I had to, I was like, I'm just gonna go into this with the context per segment and just see how it goes. But to be truthful, I think going to our topic of project is that even doing that in front of you guys was hard to get rid of that chaotic mind, you know what I mean? That my boys are watching, or you know what I mean? Do I really want to show that I'm like sad right now? Like even talking about it is like, but then I think that's why, for myself anyway, this is me pushing myself to talk. And every time I dance is a way for me to talk without talking. You know what I mean? So like, I just feel very fortunate that I have this platform. Additionally, I'm really looking forward to the teaching space because I find that I love dance, but I love the teaching space because I find that's more where I can really share and connect what's going on with me in that space, where I have people's attention and we can look for that connection within others to find their like mode of reference for the same emotions for us to be in the same space. So we'll see how that goes when we teach each other. But yeah, man, thanks for letting me share that.
Sick.
That was crazy.
Thanks for sharing, man, and being really vulnerable about that.
No, 100%.
Damn.
That was
Yeah, man. That was like a very immersive piece. It was like, it was so easy to connect to it. You know what I mean? Whether we knew the story behind it or not, it was just like you could tell from the actual piece itself. Like, you could feel how deep it was, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's crazy.
100%, man. Like, just watching that whole thing, I felt heavy. So like what you were portraying, I was like, oh man, like I can feel it. Like, even though I don't know what's going on and like what it was about initially, I was like, damn, like whatever this is, I can feel it.
It's like when you were breathing heavy or feeling heavy, and I felt the same. You know what I mean? And then when it looked like you were restricted with your movement, I felt that too. Like I was restricted to react to it. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
I love how like people see dance as like dance. You gotta make moves. You gotta do TikTok stuff. No offense, TikTok. Like it's pretty big and trendy, but. Laura, you could just show that dance can just be that, whether it's like the slightest movement, even if it's no movement in your face. It's like, like that's dance. Like I don't care what people say. Oh, that's not dance. That's literally like a creative art form of expressing whatever it is, and you're moving with your body, and that's like.
I feel like that's more dance.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So that's how crazy you can engage us in such like movement like that. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh, that's good to know.
Can you just I had a question while you were discussing your piece, which was about like sort of feeling like you don't have time to be sad or to feel because of the kids. Like, what do you mean? Can you just elaborate a bit? I guess my question is more, what happens if you are or you do give into the being sad? What does having kids mean?
That's the thing, man. Like, especially with having kids, it's like, it's not just having, cause sometimes it's like easy to think, oh, you have kids and then that means you don't have time because you got to give that energy to the kids. But then it's also like, even when, so for example, because I'm not with their mother, when the kids are with them, I'm still thinking like, what can I do to elevate their life now or the future? And so it's like, okay, I should work. I should clean their room. I should set up like tutoring. Like there's this, it's like non-stop because like you just worry. Like you just want to make sure that they have a good life, that they're set up, that you can provide for that. And so like for example, even when I play games, there's that guilt. Like I could be killing zombies, but should I be raising my kids? Like it's like and like it's very 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 like tiring. You know what I mean? Like,
That's crazy.
even like for the past couple of weeks, man, like, cause I've been really trying to grind for Christmas.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I'm cooked. Like, I don't have time or space to even think for myself, because when I have time to not do anything, I've put myself in this state of mind where what can I do next for them, or even like balancing between for them and myself, but then always justifying, if I do it for myself, then it's for the kids, and then it's like, okay, then I got to work on myself, and now it's like, now I'm juggling both, not only the kids but myself. Like, how do I make sure I'm healthy enough? And then like, see, it starts becoming a paradox of contradicting myself constantly, of I want to do this for them, but then it's not for them because it's for me, but then for me it's for them, but then if I don't do anything, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the chaos in terms of my piece, where I'm trying to throw it away and just sit in the moment, but it's like very difficult to do that.
so.
Do you know what I mean?
I think a spin possibly on that perspective could be like, it could be beneficial for them to see you putting time into yourself, or like to be feeling and to be like how you were saying you feel guilty if you're like playing games and stuff, you know. I feel like if they're to see you do that, it kind of sort of teaches them that they don't have to be on all the time as well growing up or when they're older, you know. It's like maybe life's not always about that, and it is important to take a break and chill out and do things, you know what I mean? Which, I mean, is easier said than done. But like I was saying, I think it is a spin on that perspective, where it's like you're trying to always do something for them so you can show them that you're always working hard and doing something. But it could be important for them to see the flip side of that, you know what I mean? Otherwise, all they see is this guy that's always working on something, whether actual work or not.
It kind of sets them up to have the same burnout.
And then they have the same burnout, is what I mean.
It's
And I say that because that's what I saw growing up.
Same.
And now I'm in that same boat where I feel that way too.
Especially our parents, like, coming from fields like they grind hard. You know what I mean? It's
Grind
like
mentality,
they're built like
And the
that.
funny thing is, now that I'm in that mindset of like having to grind so hard, now when, for example, my parents kick it, I feel like, how come they're not doing anything? I almost feel like they're being lazy. Again, no shade to them. It's just the mindset I'm in.
Like, what's going on?
At this age, is that's what I saw them doing, and now they've slowed down. Given they're older, they should be. But I'm almost like, oh, what he's doing? You know what I mean? But it's because that's the way I saw it.
No, 200%.
And I think if I had seen them kicking it a little bit more,
like,
I
it's
wouldn't
okay,
be feeling that way.
You know? I think it's like, now it's about like questioning, how do we break that generational Passover? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Makes me think. Oh, go.
Oh, no, go.
Go, man.
I was just gonna say, like, I think that's the battle. Do you know what I mean? Like, having those thoughts, having those stigmas, and then challenging those embedded beliefs about like how you see the world, and like being okay with that. I think that's something that, to be honest, I can't speak for you guys, but I'll always be challenged with. But I think that's the strength that I look forward to having. Do you know what I mean? See, then it's like, I'm just gonna push myself again. Like, see, it's like constantly, bam. You gonna say, Chad?
Just like in line with what everyone's saying, easier said than done. And like, it's the mindset that has to, improve before like we can do these things. But it makes me think about like, there's always these three sort of statements I heard, and I'm like, you know what? That's important to me, to the people around me, and to society. And it's always something that like, if ever I feel in a certain way, I'm like, nah, just focus on these three things. And I'm learning every day how to freaking apply it properly, because I'm failing every time. But anyways, it's always, and it's in the order. I guess you can say this in the order of like importance, but it's always look after yourself, take care of each other, and focus on the things that are controllable, that matters the most. And it just like, there's like so many quotes and sayings out there, but personally, for me, it's a nice, easy 3-pointer sort of view of like what I should be doing and focusing on. Because if I want to take care of Vanessa or my kids or people at work or whatever, and I'm not good and I'm not in a good state, I have to sort of, and maybe people can understand, I have to look after myself first and look after others then. Because how many of us feel like, no, we got to do everything for others and others, but then we're like burning out. And then you're saying like, what is that role modeling for the future generations around me? So it's the hardest thing,
Yeah, it's
and we
hard,
know
yeah.
what to do. But like those three things mentally gets me there, but it's just about doing it for me, and I'm still learning how do I do that without feeling guilt? How do I do that without, I don't know, like always. I hardly do the things for myself. Like I say I want to do it, but I'm like, nah, I gotta do it for others. Like,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I think it's just a constant, like you're just constantly navigating it. Like,
Yeah.
it's like having, it sounds like having like company mottos, and then just like seeing how it applies to every situation, and then like how well you are, like kind of like making sure you keep on to the values that you have.
Yeah, and keep providing, like you said, just always doing things for others, right?
Yeah.
Like, 'cause that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
so hard.
But yeah, I think to finish it off, like, thank you for letting me share.
Thank you.
And I think I'm just grateful that I have a platform like dance. You know what I mean? Where, like I said, I do this a lot by myself. Like when like I'm just stressed out. I'm like, hey kid, you know what? I tell the girls, I'm like, hey, daddy's stressed. Just don't come in the garage.
That's good.
And then you hear like dubstep coming from the garage. And I come out like sweaty. I'm good. You know what I mean? Like,
Daddy, did you have a good time in the garage?
yeah, so I'm really grateful that I have this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And this is what this is about, right? Like that's your outlet.
that is my outlet.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I think some people just need to figure out, hey, what works for you?
Yes,
For
yes.
you, that's that.
Yeah, that's dance. Yeah,
People could do something completely different.
yeah. I think, it's good because I think it's just also understanding your relationship with your activity. You know what I mean? Like dance has become very personal to me these days, rather than pushing it out.
Yeah.
You know, and becoming a dancer.
Yeah.
It's more about. I'm more just grateful that I have dance to provide and give energy to the other things, other priorities in my life.
That's
you know
sick.
what I mean? So yeah.
Cool.
Nice, man. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Nice.
All right.
All right.
On to the next.
Daddy boy.
Let's do it. Yes, sir.
Yum yum yum.
Okay.
Okay. So where do I start? So in my later years of life, I have realized that change is constant and inevitable. It's something that you shouldn't, or I shouldn't really be surprised that things are always going to change. And I'm always trying to strengthen my resilience and just belief in that. All right, things are going to change, good or bad, but keep believing, never give up, because as hard as times get, you've gone through it before, something similar, you've gone out of it and you've become stronger, and if a new thing happens again, hard, from a difficult perspective, I always try and use previous experiences to believe in myself that I can do it again. And last maybe year or so, I've tried to improve my practice of gratitude to help me through this, and I feel like personally just being grateful for things and focusing on the positives, not positives as in like just try and be happy all the time, but more like what are those really good things that are happening in your life, or what are the grateful things that I have and that I have around me that potentially other people don't have, and they're in less fortunate situations, helps me strengthen my resilience when things go bad. Because when things go bad, I sometimes can tell myself it's not as bad as other people's situations. At least I have a family here. At least I've got a home, I've got food, I've got a job, I can work from home, all these things, right? And people have it way worse. So this piece is trying to I guess express just that, like, even though I've gotten like a lot of struggles and hard times, I want to be able to share that I always try my best to never give up. Sometimes I do give up. I won't lie, sometimes I give up, sometimes I fail, sometimes I'm just in shit situations. Most of the times I can get through it, whether it's in a short amount of time, sometimes it's really long and it's like really hard. And then I always try my best to take a moment to celebrate and reflect as well. and just like you did it, be grateful. You did it before and you did it again, and hopefully you can use this as an opportunity to like improve the next situation that sort of happens, because change will always happen. Similar to you actually, like I broke my piece down into 3 different sections. The first one is just being like just struggles and like frustrated. I need to push all these bad stuff away. And then as the sort of more choreo goes and the singing, that's me trying to just never give up. At times that I succeed, sometimes I fail, and it's just me showing like just keep going. If you don't even believe, then you've given up already, right? I've so many conversations I've had is just like, oh, it's not going to work. I'm like, but you don't even know, and you haven't even tried yet. You literally failed already. I don't want to use the word fail, but like, you just never know unless you like try it. Like all the things that are created now, all the new stuff, they're created and invented and thought of because people just believed, all right? And they had this like extraordinary vision. So that's this middle piece, and then the last one where it's like all beady and stuff. It's more of a celebration. Like I've made it, I'm making it, and sort of all the things are like out of my head and like be guided by like my heart and gratitude and sort of just positivity. But that was the piece.
Nice. That's crazy, man. Because like just going back to when you said like reflecting and the gratitude piece, right? Like you've started to do that. I know for me personally, I've also just started to do that recently. And before, like, you never think about that. Like you just keep going, right? Like whatever it is you're doing in life, you just keep going, and you never take the time to just go, hey, what have I done? Like, look at everything that I've achieved and be grateful for all that. Like, I think that's what resonates with me the most is like, yeah, true. Like, take the time to go, hey, man, I've done all right. Yeah. Like, we wouldn't be sitting here where we're at right now if we haven't done something right? Like, I think that's the, that's the biggest thing that, like, when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, true. Like, fully resonate with that. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I love you as a person, and in the dance especially, like your ability to be resilient. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's really inspiring. Just from the outside looking in, like, fuck man, Chad. Chad's got it going on. But then like it's really cool
that's
to
always the conversation around Chad.
Like Chad's got it going on. But it's really cool to hear that and hear your practice and the way you actually go about it in regards to how you develop that strength within yourself, and that kind of dialogue you have with yourself about like, I gotta be strong, or I gotta have faith, I gotta believe. And it's like, to be honest, like I don't tell myself that enough. Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like I've watched a lot of Disney movies, but I always forget. Like I have to watch it again. Like, oh yeah, true. I just got to believe. Like, but seeing how your life has played out and how you overcome your challenges, like it's a true testament to that idea of believing in yourself and doing practices like gratitude and all that stuff to reflect on how to create that resilience. I'm really grateful that you shared that, because mine was pretty sad, you know what I mean? So I feel like that was a good kind of like transition into what I could do. Do you know what I mean? So I'm really thankful you shared that.
Nice.
Anytime, man.
Yeah. I think on the topic of like just like giving the flowers while you can, man, it's like first of all, just watching your dance is always.
That was flower. That was like a bouquet.
But it's just it's always such a joy to watch. You know what I mean?
Man. It's so good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's just it's so good to watch you dance every time. You know what I mean? And even during the times where we dance together every day for weeks on end and months and years. It's like, even then it was amazing to watch you dance, and then now having not seen you dance for a while, it's just like, it's so good to see, man.
100%. It's crazy.
You've always been good at that though, like your pieces have always been really visually appealing, but contextually, you're really great at bringing it from a place within you. Do you know what I mean?
Like yours never looks like just moves.
No.
Even though the moves
are moves.
Even though they're so nice, you know, like you can put any of the pieces you've made on a stage, and it will look,
you look yummy.
sick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then to always have that, like the concept behind it is always like clear, and I think that's very hard to do.
Yeah,
But you've
yeah.
always sort of been, well, in my opinion, you've always seemed like a natural at it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, you
but
are
not to
natural.
knock on any, I guess, steps you've purposely taken to get there. But it just always seemed natural for you. You know what I mean?
A natural artist, man.
Yeah.
Bro, you just put it together somehow.
It's true. Most of your
Just don't
pieces,
get it.
man. All your pieces, I've always been. You've always been really good at getting us to connect to the purpose and context
Yeah.
behind it.
Yep.
Sometimes without even telling us the purpose or concept,
Yeah.
it's just
I know.
works.
Yeah, man. You're an artiste.
Appreciate it, man. I'll wrap it up. Again, just having this platform to just share and like Jono, man, I haven't danced in ages. Like, how good does that feel, right?
Yeah.
Like, for me personally, I've always got dancing in me, and I always will. And just having these moments with you all is so important. Like, I can't even say the words, but just know this is a very important moment of my life, and it will continue to be. And I hope it just grows because you guys keep dance alive in me. I can dance at home and stuff, right? But doing this and sharing is next level. So grateful that we can do this
100%
with good people.
I feel the same, man.
Yeah.
Like, now that we've got our things going on, right? It's moments like this where it's like, damn, like, this is why I appreciate you guys so much, is because of moments and things like this. Because we hardly do this anymore. We used to do it, like Jules said, every day. We see each other every night, dance every day. Now it's like moments like this where we only do it once. It's like, this makes it more special.
It does make it more special, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really
Yeah.
does.
Like, I think, it's like we'll always have this boat.
Yeah.
That's it.
We go out to sea and go fishing. You know what I mean? Let's have a chat. The boat of dance.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
man.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks for letting me share, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Fucking so strong. You see all of us just like. That's racist.
My heart's racing.
That's racist.
That's racist.
All right.
All right.
Cool. All right. I guess when we first came up with the idea for this, my first point of reference was trying to, I guess, choose a story to tell, because I feel like there are so many for me. And therefore, like at one point before actually starting, I was trying to toss up between like 7 different songs. You know what I mean? Because I was feeling so many different things, not just at the time, but progressively throughout my life. It's always just sort of been chaotic in my mind and what I'm feeling. And I mean, I'm quite an expressive person, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was really a matter of what song do I do and what story do I want to tell. But then when I came across this song, I felt like the whole, I think it's like 5 minutes, the whole 5 minutes of it, you feel such a range of emotions. There are parts where it feels like hype and bouncy, and then parts where it feels heavy, and parts where it slows down, which I think is just sort of me in a nutshell, right? There are times I'll be out and I'm like mad moody for some reason. I'm like quiet and reserved, and then the next thing, like I'm the life of the party, you know what I mean? So it's always, my mind is always just constantly like a melting pot of different things, you know what I mean? And funny enough, like just this week, as you guys know, like I guess what I was sharing and the message I was trying to send, or I guess the emotions I was feeling, it really like culminated into one major thing, which my dog passed away earlier in the week, right? So then I guess it gave a whole new meaning to the piece for me, though the moves were already made. But it tied in nicely because there wasn't really a specific story there prior anyway. It was just that range of emotions and how to express it. So a lot of the movement comes from like, I guess, like suffering, right? Feeling like you've been just sort of hurt and the pain, but then trying to be strong at the same time and fight through it. And very similar to, it's almost like all 3 of you guys' pieces sort of put into one, you know what I mean? It's that idea of, am I good enough? Am I not good enough? But I'm gonna front like I am anyway. It's that idea of, I don't have time to feel, and you know, especially with like with my job at the moment, you know, being in a position of leadership, with my dog passing, it's like I was away for a day. And then the following day I had to be back at work. I got 50 kids waiting on me to be in the room for them, to prepare them for the end of the year, you know what I mean? And if I'm not there, then 50 kids suffer, you know what I mean? Or they struggle, I guess. So it just felt like, same thing. I don't have kids of my own, but I got these people relying on me, you know what I mean? But then at the same time, with Charles, with the celebrating of what I have done and taking the time to, I guess, feel and the stress of having like all of these things in your plate, but still being able to fight through it. So, like I said, I feel like it's all three of your guys' things sort of in one thing, with just a lot going on and just a very raw piece for me, I think. With just like flailing around, and that's just how I dance as it is, man, because that's who I am, you know what I mean? I feel like that always sort of comes through, perhaps.
Crazy.
So that's crazy, man.
Fucking I love that shit.
I'm just gonna say, you have been crazy at dancing since you were a kid.
Thank you, man.
And I've watched you dance and you grow up and you haven't, you have evolved every time I've seen you dance.
Thanks, bro.
And it's just
I appreciate
crazy.
that.
It is crazy, yeah.
I still remember
crazy.
the first time I met Jules at Urban Force, and then his little Jules,
Yeah,
he was showing me
legit.
the apologies by the
Oh,
Jabba.
MBDC.
Oh, you are crazy.
But same memories, man. Urban Force,
man.
like Jess's little brother. I was just like, whoa, this little kid is killing
Legit.
it. And 10, 15, I don't know, 20 years later, still killing it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But
Sick.
in regards to the piece, man, fuck. I think, because in regards to responsibility, you know what I mean? Like, for example, having that responsibility of those children. Was that piece more like? Was there like a hint of like anger and aggression?
Oh, 100%.
Like, you know what I mean?
You know?
Like,
It was a mix.
in regards to the idea of the responsibility and not being able to feel your own emotions, it was like heavy and aggressive in that sense, where it's like almost frustrating.
Yes.
Could you expand on that space in that piece?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with the range of emotions that I feel quite frequently, I think like frustration is definitely one of them, but not always to like a suffering point of frustration. Sometimes it's just wanting to do more, wanting to be more, wanting to provide more. Even though I can look back and say I've achieved these things and I've provided for these people and I've done all these things, it's still just wanting to be more and better and constantly progress. But sometimes it's the frustration of not knowing how to continue progressing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, not to sort of, I guess, flip what you said on its head, but having been someone that I've gotten a lot of props since I was younger, it's like, it's almost like I peaked really early. So how do I continue to,
That's
you know what I
challenge
mean?
for you,
And it's always like, let me find a new thing, let me find a new thing, let me find a new thing. And I'm not just trying to be the best at everything or anything like that, but it's just like, how can I continue to evolve? Like, because I don't want the feeling of being stuck in the one place all the time. Because I have done it and I didn't like it, you know what I mean? So I've always just wanted to try something new or do a little bit more. And that sense of like, I guess, frustration and anger, it's like, even the parts in the piece, I guess, where I do feel pain, it's frustration as well. Even when I am happy, there's still frustration there. So I think, like you said, the underlying tone for the whole thing was that anger and frustration. Regardless of an additional emotion on top of that as well. There's always that layer underneath.
What have you found to be like things to overcome that, or keep you going after those episodes of frustration? You know what I mean? Because like I deal with that all the time.
I think
stuck
for me,
sometimes, to the point of suffering.
I think for a while it was anger and frustration, and then it was frustration at not being able to overcome it. You know what I mean? Or like always feeling like I can't be feeling like this. You know? And then I think sort of what helped for me was realizing it's okay to feel that. You know what I mean? Like, it always seems like there's something wrong with being angry or frustrated, but that's not, it doesn't have to be a negative thing. You know, like for me, if I'm to turn around and spin it, what I just said, it's I'm frustrated and angry, but it always ended up leading to something positive.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so because I was frustrated at wanting to be better, I became better.
Mm.
Because I didn't know how to
Yes,
evolve,
yes.
I eventually evolved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's almost like, it's kind of weird. It's like double-edged. That's what kept me going. The anger
Yeah.
and frustration is what kept me going. And at the same time, it's what felt like was holding me back.
Yeah.
You know
Oh,
what I mean?
Yeah.
bro, I've questioned that
That's
shit.
sick. I like that. Yeah.
Like, like dark energy.
Yeah.
In regards to
Yeah.
like comparison or like hating on someone
Yeah,
or hating
yeah,
on
yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like when is that good and bad, or how do you balance it? Because
Yeah.
sometimes it's the driver that gets you places,
Yeah.
but then it's also the
But you
top-
can't
the,
let it
the
consume
poison.
you all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
That's
right?
it.
Yeah.
You gotta be strong enough to harness it and use it to like.
And
your
so I think
power.
my kind of thing
Juggling
is, for me,
act.
is accepting that will always kind of be there.
Yep.
But it's trying to put a positive spin on it consistently is sort
That's
of
the
where I'm
difficulty,
at
yeah.
now, and
Nice.
well, I guess where I have been for a little while, and where I want to continue to keep
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get rid of it anymore and
Yeah.
stop being angry and stop being frustrated
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
suffering. I feel like it's led to so many good things for
Yes.
me as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's brought me some really low lows, but it's also brought me to where I am right now.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with where I am.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's no longer trying to get rid of it. It's just knowing that's there, but there's also a parallel at all times.
How did it feel putting that into that? The piece.
Yeah, well, as you know, like I finished the piece quite early, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
it
Yeah,
was
you
just
did, yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah,
let it
true.
all out there. I'm not thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
angry
yeah.
and frustrated, and the movies are going to come out, and whether they look whack or not, doesn't matter.
right.
Yeah.
I've made something.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
You know
yes,
what I
yes,
mean?
yes. You're able to put that situation
Exactly
into
right,
this
yeah.
physical
So it
space.
wasn't about like whether it looks good
Yeah.
or does it look too angry, does it
Yeah.
look too
Yeah, yeah.
painful, is there a happy part? I'm not trying to think about the parts
Yeah.
of the piece or breaking it up into
400
sections.
pounds.
It was just, here's everything,
Yeah.
all at once. Which
Nice.
sometimes, you know, I guess with my dancing can be too much. It's like an overload of like, what's going on here?
Yeah, no,
You
no.
know? But
I think
That's
it's more
crazy.
real.
I've learned
Yeah,
to just,
exactly.
I've learned to
It's
just
a raw
steer into
product
it.
of you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Nice.
because I think like that's the thing that, because you can get into that feedback loop of like, for example, doubt or
Yeah.
frustration when it comes to these kinds of activities.
Oh,
you know what
yeah,
I mean? Like, okay, this is
100%.
my mindfulness practice,
Yeah.
and then you get cut. like, fuck,
100%.
I haven't meditated for ages. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, and then now you're
100%.
in this feedback loop in terms of trying to better yourself. You know what I mean? It's like frustrating. Like you're constantly like,
I feel like for me, when it comes to creating, like, for example, a piece like this, I'm able to just throw everything at it.
Yeah.
And then I'm good for a while, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
It's almost
yeah,
like
yeah,
it bottles
yeah,
up
yeah.
for a bit, and then
Yeah.
I'll release it, and then I'll let it
Yeah,
bottle
that's
up
a sick way to
again,
think about
and then
it.
I'll just
That's
release
good.
it again.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that's a
And I
dope
think
way.
that's worked for me so far.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah,
something
yeah.
I'll continue to do
Yeah.
if I don't find another way around it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm not actively searching for another way, you know?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like how it goes.
I think people can learn from that because people are scared to just do things and they think too much.
Yes.
And there's no action.
yeah, like the bottle up
It-
becomes like
Yeah.
packed.
And yeah, that's preventing them from doing it, which leads to even more long-term problems and challenges for
It's
them.
like
so,
what you said like before. It's like, how do you know if it works for you or not if you haven't even tried it? It hasn't
Yeah.
even happened yet, and you're already like,
Yeah.
nah, this is whatever it is that's going on, but you don't know because it's not. You haven't done it.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's a matter of just going out there and trying it and seeing
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah.
No matter if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
It sounds almost like it's about finding like a release rather than like something better to like something to better yourself. It's more about just what can I do that can allow me to release what I'm feeling. Do you know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
I think there's that idea of talk about it, but then talking about it is not always the
Yeah.
case.
That's exactly it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then,
yeah,
for
yeah,
example,
yeah.
yourself to let that bottle up. And I feel like we all like. I think specifically when it comes to men's health, that bottle up idea is really big
Yeah.
in terms of men's mental health
Yep.
because you just bottle shit up, you just take
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
and then you
yeah.
bottle it up, and then it comes out like negatively or aggressively or violently or destructively self or others. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then to let that to release into a platform like dance or you know what I mean? I think it's just about maybe it's like changing that idea of I need to do something to better myself. It's more so maybe I just need to find something to release this pent up energy, whether good, bad, frustrating, suffering,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever. Do you know what I mean?
I would say the hardest part is probably being able to build up your own emotional literacy to recognize what it is you're feeling, right? If you don't allow yourself to feel those
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
you'll not know what it feels like.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
So you don't know when it's bottled up.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't even
So
know.
it takes
Emotional
a while to,
literacy.
Yeah, it kind of takes a while to get there.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've allowed myself to feel so many different things
Yeah.
now. Once I accepted that that was the case,
Yeah.
that I can now quickly recognize, like, I need to release this.
I would
need
say
to release this.
art is a good
Yeah.
way of a good way of discovering vocabulary,
Yes.
whether it's actual verbal or, for example, when you talk about dance movement vocabulary, art is a good way to find the vocabulary to explain or express.
Yeah.
You know what I
'Cause I
mean?
think that's
to
the thing.
expand that literacy of
Yeah.
emotions.
A lot of mental health conversations roll around, talking to someone, open up to
Yeah.
someone, go get help. That's like if I'm not emotionally literate enough, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know how to
Yeah,
start that
yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know even what to say. I can easily say to someone, I feel something, and I don't know what it is, how they're meant to help me.
Yeah.
Add that with being illiterate, like not having like a big vocabulary of
Yeah.
words.
Yeah.
That's an even bigger barrier.
even harder,
I think it's
yeah.
about understanding what you're most like. How do you experience the world? What do you resonate with? To then find a way to release into that. You know what I mean? Like for example, us, like we have dance, so we feel it in our bodies.
Yeah.
And so we use our bodies, the vocabulary of our bodies, to therefore express that emotional
Yeah,
situation.
I like that. Yeah,
That is interesting.
it's a good theme.
Emotional literacy. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say that all the time.
It's a good theme around
Emotional
that.
literacy.
What's crazy
400
is
pounds of raw.
when you're talking about like emotional literacy, there are times where I literally don't know how or what it is I'm feeling.
Exactly.
Like,
right.
Yeah.
and at times it's like it gets frustrating and it becomes
You don't know
something
what it
else.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like because you're feeling something, it's like, oh, why am I feeling this? Like what's going on? And then it's just like, well, it's alright. Like if you don't know what it is,
Yeah.
it's
okay to
okay
not
to
know.
feel like that.
Yeah.
Like, and don't feel ashamed that you're feeling that. That's,
Yeah,
You know that goes a lot with what you like your like piece in
Yeah.
regards to having like that community around you. Because then like if you say you see the world, let's just go to dance because we're dancers
Yeah.
here, yeah. Because we have this movement vocabulary to express our emotions. If we're in the right community of people who have that same literacy set, the same vocabulary set,
yeah.
then you actually have people you can connect with.
Yeah.
And in turn, you can create that support because you have people that understand.
Yeah.
yeah. You're on the same like.
Yeah, I think that's why it's really
Yeah, you're
important to put
understanding.
yourself into the spaces that you resonate with.
Yep.
I think even today, like, exemplifies that. For example, I watched all those pieces before hearing the conversation around it, and I knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause,
100.
yeah.
And I knew that not from the conversations we've had with each other, but I can read the story you're
Yeah.
telling.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
the art form, and I'm
Yeah.
in that art form,
Yeah.
therefore I can see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it might not always be dance for everyone.
Yeah,
really
exactly.
Yes.
really
I was gonna say,
100%.
like, for the people out there, how would they build literacy, emotional literacy, or like become aware and build knowledge around that when it's not like maybe in a form
Yeah.
of dance? and
Yeah,
stuff
I
like
think
that.
it's like I think it's about finding what you resonate with
Yes.
Yeah.
and putting yourself
Yeah.
in that space to be social. Because I
Yeah.
like I think it was Jordan Peterson. I can't remember. I read something and saying how like our social world is important because it allows us to understand. Like our own emotions, how we fit, like what's good, what's wrong, what's bad,
Yeah.
by measuring our actions to our community. And so if you, for example, say it's not dance, say it's like, I don't know, like basketball. You know what I mean? Basketball has all these different emotions, but it has all these different vocabulary, techniques, and ideas that when someone does something, it like a very good basketball player can look at another basketball player's like play style and understand who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it's really important,
Nice.
like whatever you resonate with,
Yeah.
to actually just I don't know, like you just gotta put yourself in the space.
Yeah, surround yourself
To
with
be
that
understood.
community. Yeah.
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 And it's like anything
good.
out there,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
it
like
can be anything.
like a chef creates a meal, and you understand their experiences.
Yeah.
through that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah,
man.
100%.
I don't think it has to be anything like mad established either.
Nah,
like
could
you know
be
what I
very
mean?
simple.
Like, very simple. You know, like
I also think like it's the journey as well.
Yeah,
It's
20%,
not
man.
just all. It's not all about. Oh, I need to get to an end point. It's like the whole journey of like you were saying. Like you need to kind of figure out what works for you in regards to how to express yourself or whatever it is. And sometimes it's a journey because otherwise, how are you going to learn what you're feeling, how can you express it in those
Yeah.
moments and all that. So
Yeah.
I think that's also very
I
important.
think that step one to building that emotional literacy
Yeah.
really comes to firstly allowing yourself to feel different emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like I know it's very.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's a cop out because it's a very real thing, but you know, saying like there's no time, like I just said, you
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
There's no time, or I can't because there's these responsibilities. It's like that's all well and true, but if you don't allow yourself to feel it to some degree, you won't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
You
yeah.
won't learn how you are in that emotion.
Yeah.
You won't know what it's
True
like
that.
to feel that. Therefore,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
won't
yeah.
know how to harness it or maintain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just those next steps because you just didn't let it
because
in
you don't
in the
know.
first
You
place.
can't talk about it
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
didn't allow yourself to know what it's like.
Would you say it's like, for example, when you put yourself in like a challenging experience of a space that you want to actually get better at, like, for example, dance. I just keep going back to
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
This
yeah.
can apply to anyone, but because of dance, because I wanted to get better, it made me reflect on my ability, but then therefore it made me reflect on the totality of my life
Yes.
and how that actually implements into building that ability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So would you say it's like going back to putting yourself into a space that almost like it's like triggering the emotion. What would you say?
Emotional literacy?
Like how you look at your emotions, like. You know what I mean? Because for someone who's just blocked off and in a space that they don't want to better themselves in,
Yeah.
like it is difficult to go. Okay, I'm gonna look at my emotions. But then when you're put into a space where you actually want to better yourself and you're
Yeah, yeah.
challenged, do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I need to look at like why isn't this happening? Then you actually start.
That's where
letting
the
it
Think
die.
internal
differently,
dialogue
You know what I
starts.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone over time.
All good, all good.
Yeah, but that's good. Bro. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
No, thanks,
Yeah,
bro.
we should finish up
That
so
was
that
good.
we can like swap it over.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, boys.
No,
that was
thank
sick.
you.
It's good.
Thank you guys.
Learned a lot about
It's
you guys.
always a pleasure.
Yeah.
It's always,
good.
like I said, it's always so nice to do something like this because we hardly do it now, right?
Yeah,
Like,
100%, man.
and it makes it so much more special.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And if we can send a message out there by doing this, why not, right?
Yeah.
I think what we shared is like we all knew those things about each other anyway,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
we've never
yeah.
spoken it.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
deepness of
So
it.
again,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
to
always
allow ourselves to
there.
expand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the process. Without
Yeah.
doing it, like I know. But doing it is like, whoa, like
Yeah.
we're in it, we feel it.
It's like what you
It's
said.
definitely
It's like your
next
piece.
Yeah.
Like, which is kind of like knowing. but
Yeah,
then,
yeah, yeah.
You know,
But then,
we didn't
like
talk
actually
about
tell
Yeah.
me.
it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's
Yeah.
sick, man.
That's sick.
But yeah. Should
Nice.
we wrap it
Yeah,
up?
let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
thank-
go
yeah.
for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
you go for
Yeah,
it.
no, you go for it.
All right, let's go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed our pieces. I think it would be cool to watch the pieces again with this
Yeah.
context. I know
Yeah.
I will be watching it again.
Sure.
Maybe we can do something with this space in these pieces. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that was fun, man.
That was
Yeah.
good.
No, thank you to Mr. AJ Rods at AR Film and
yeah.
Photography.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Put
Film
that
and
on the-
Photography.
And thank you to Passions for letting us use the space. I think it's also like, if like you want to explore the way we're exploring, that's
It's
the
just
place
a
to go
place
because,
to
like, you know what I
start,
mean?
That's it.
One of the values is the journey. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, So thank you, Passions.
Nice.
Thank you, Spark, for sparking this project.
Sir.
Spark. But yeah, anything else you guys want to say?
Oh, good.
Thanks to all you guys, man.
Yeah, thanks to everyone.
Thanks to everyone. Including you, AJ. You're part of this, so it's a good time.
Yeah, thank you, Ariel, for letting us go overtime. We'll swap
Thanks.
things now.
See ya.
Peace out.
Peace.
It's a wrap.